Kiati. I am the head of the firm of Joshi Advocates. Thank you very much for joining us in our second video of the Christmas season. Again, Merry Christmas to everyone, Happy Holidays, and wishing you a very Happy New Year. So let's begin with our video on asylum. We're going to look at the process, what the Home Office considers, and what to do depending on the Home Office decision. Right, so let's begin. What is asylum? Asylum is when someone is saying to the Home Office, I'm afraid to go to my country because of my religious belief, my gender, sexual orientation, political belief, and things like that. Now, how to actually go about it? Asylum is free to claim. Call the Home Office. There's a number on Google. First, what the Home Office would do is have a screening interview with you. It's, as the name suggests, screening. So it's basically going to ask you 15 to 20 questions to understand what is the claim on the basis of. So they would ask you, why are you afraid of going there? What family you have there? Things like that. Where do you live? Those basic questions. After that interview, there will be another interview. Home Office will ask you to come, called a substantive interview. That interview will actually go into detail as to who you're afraid of. If you live in city A in your country, why can't you live in city B in your country, so as to get away from the fear and the harm that you may face as you claim. So that's what the Home Office will look at in the substantive interview. And then the Home Office decision will follow. Now, the procedure I've just laid out for you could take some time. And the Home Office does have something called NAS support, and provides accommodation and food vouchers and things like that. So inform the Home Office of your financial situation should you be in doubt or financially compromised. Now, there are a few people who have called, and thank you very much for your calls and inquiries. Again, my contact details are in the description box below. Now, some people have said, I've lived in the UK for 10 years and I have no document and I now wish to claim asylum. My question to them would be, look, asylum is something, for example, one of many situations, of course, asylum can cover, but one of them is, say, you are from a country that has war or famine, people are dying because the government is not doing anything, and the person is running away from that country, right? And the person would not run away from that country all the way to the UK, cross so many other countries only to come to the UK. The person will go to the nearest country and claim asylum at the first opportunity. Now, if this individual has taken 10 years to inform the Home Office of their fear of returning to that country, Home Office reasonably would have the question, well, why have you taken such a long time if you indeed had the fear? So consider this when claiming asylum. Home Office will also say things like, why did you not claim asylum at the airport, or as soon as you came in? Does the fear that you had 10 years ago still exist now? And remember, when you claim asylum, it's for you to prove that the threat exists, that you are in fear of it, that there is no protection in the country, that you are being asked to return. Okay, so let's just look at what the Home Office assesses and how they assess. So asylum is basically the person saying, I have this fear that if I were to return, I will be at risk of harm and my life would be endangered. Home Office will say, okay, if that is valid, what protection is available in the country that we are asking you to go to? And is the protection reasonable? So is the police there? Things like that. Do the police have your complaints reasonably investigated? So some countries have often bribery, corruption, things like that. Understandable. Then the Home Office will say, okay, in the interview you said you lived in city A, right? Your city. Why can't you relocate and go to city B, where the persons who pose a threat to you cannot find you or cause you any harm. So that's what the Home Office will look at. And finally, the Home Office will also look at your human rights, your right to family life, i.e. a partner if you have one in the UK, or any children you have in the UK, and how long you lived in the UK. Home Office will assess this as part of your asylum claim because it's human rights, okay? So one time a client called and said, oh, I've claimed asylum, but another lawyer is telling me to put an application in on my family life with my partner and my child. And I said, well, that's silly, because the Home Office will look at your family life with your partner and your children as part of the asylum claim. So there is no need to pay the Home Office £1,500, including immigration health surcharge, to assess it, when they will assess it anyway as part of the asylum claim. So again, get legal advice and always get a second opinion. So that's that. Now, say that Home Office refuses the asylum claim. What to do? So the decision would sometimes carry something known as right of appeal in country. So that means you can challenge the Home Office decision by going to court in the UK, and where an independent judge would assess the Home Office decision and your claim. If there is no right of appeal, there are two options available to you. The first is called a judicial review. If the Home Office have made a technical legal error in assessing your claim, you can go for judicial review. Or if you think you've got more evidence that the Home Office had not considered, then for whatever reason, you may seek to put in something called further submissions or fresh claim. Again, judicial review will cost you money because the court fee, your lawyer's fee. Further submissions, there is no Home Office fee because the claim is going back to the Home Office with more evidence to consider. The procedural step there is you would have to call Liverpool and book an appointment to attend in person and give your documents. Okay, so that's that. I hope this has been informative. If I can assist any further, as always, contact me, details below, subscribe, and I'll see you very soon for the third video on Tier 1 Entrepreneur. Thank you very much for joining. Take care. Bye.